Welcome to day 11. I hope you're feeling great today. After yesterday's challenging routine focusing on balance, today's routine we're going to take a step back, take a breath, ease into some leg flexibility with a lower extremity stretching program focusing primarily around the hips and the pelvis. Today we're going to begin on our hands and knees on the bed. I'm going to face the foot of my bed and just kind of set my pillow down to start, just so I can face you and you get a better angle of some of these movements. We're going to start in a quadruped position. If your feet are uncomfortable here, you can always scoot down to one end of your bed or angle sideways on your bed as well, so your toes curl over the end of the bed. It may be more comfortable on the ankles if your ankles are a bit stiff. But from here, we're going to begin in a gentle cat-camel, focusing primarily on pelvic movement around the hip joint. So we're going to start by gently arching the pelvis down, as if you're sticking your rear end or your tailbone up and away to arch your lower back, and then gently pull the tailbone down to tuck the pelvis backward. We call this a posterior tilt, and arching the back high. So it's kind of a high to low arch, but instead of pushing through the hands and getting the upper back moving, we're focusing initially on the pelvis and the lower back. Let's roll the pelvis down again. Take a nice breath in, and as we exhale, pull that tailbone underneath your body. Belly draws up and in slightly. And one more time, breath in. Rock the pelvis downward to get a low arch in the back. And exhale to roll the pelvis backward to the high arch position. Let's do two more now and integrate full spine movement. So as we take a breath in and tilt down to stick the butt up in the air, gently let the chest drop and look up. And on the exhale, pull the tailbone down and in, press up and away, and chin to chest. One more time. Breath in, tilt the pelvis forward, chest drops down, head looks up, and on the exhale, pressing chest up and away, roll the pelvis back to get the tailbone underneath the body, head drops down, chin to chest. And now from here, we're going to go into an extended child's pose, or we call this a hand heel rock position. In physical therapy, good for hip flexion, but also some lower back and upper back stretching. So rock the butt towards the heels, and you can keep the lower legs angled slightly, knees wide and feet in, and gently rocking back, and just bringing the chest down, head to the mattress. You can let your arms fully relax here, working to get a nice stretch through the hip creases, through the lower back. Or you can actively try to reach forward with your hands, increase a little bit of an upper back or shoulder stretch. And now we're going to transition back up, weight to the hands, keep the elbows straight, and come into a modified press-up. So we're going to try to bring the front of the hips and the pelvis down to the bed to create some hip extension. Also a little bit stressful on the lower back potentially for some. So just go easy with this. And right back one more time into this child's pose or hand heel rock position, butt to feet. Letting the chest and the head drop down to the bed. You can let your head fully relax. Take a breath. And then one more time, weight shifting to the hands, keeping the elbows straight and dropping the pelvis down toward the bed. A nice stretch through the lower back, through the hips, and rocking back to neutral. Now we're going to transition off the bed. And for this routine, it is nice to keep a pillow around. We're going to show one progression as we get off the bed, using a pillow potentially cushion your knee. So just keep it around if you have one. We're going to come into a unilateral or a single-sided modified Taylor sit position. So Taylor sitting cross position. We're going to come with the right leg facing the bed or on the bed, left foot down to the floor. And see if we can get the whole pelvis and rear end on the bed with this. So the left foot just gives a little bit of support, but I'm in this externally rotated position to the hip. If this is really stiff through your hip and you can't let that leg comfortably relax down, this is again where a pillow comes in play and is really handy, is we can prop it under the leg just to support that knee up slightly, but still allow you to go into that stretch position. If you need the pillow, use it. If not, just set it aside. From here now, we're going to sit nice, and that may increase the stretch through the hip, through the back of the butt, and just take a nice breath in and exhale away. Your right hand can gently push on top of the right knee area to push it down to the bed to increase the stretch. Let's do one more breath in and exhale. And now we're going to transition into a pigeon pose. It's a piriformis muscle stretch. We're going to take the left leg and bring it back behind to allow our upper body to transition forward and start to bring the forearms or hands initially onto the bed in front of that right leg. And you may increase just doing that. If you can go further and drop to the forearms, let's do that. And feel that nice deep stretch through the hip, butt. Remembering to breathe. You can let your head and shoulders come down and just relax if it feels good for you. Let's slowly make our way to that stretch position. And you can let your leg either slide down off the bed, or we're going to go right into a long sit hamstring stretch. If your hamstring don't allow this and it pulls too much on your back and you're kind of sagging way back like this, I'm going to recommend you come to a modified seated hamstring stretch position, which is basically here, keeping the left knee bent and that right leg nice and straight to the floor. Now from here we can create a nice forward to get that stretch through the hamstring. I'm going to bring my leg up, and if you can tolerate this well, let's get here. This is your goal if you can't get here. And we're going to keep the foot pointing straight up. Sit up nice and tall. You can use the bed to kind of help bring you there and kind of lift your body up. That may bring on your stretch. If so, perfect. We're going to hold that. If not, keep your back straight and gently lean in from your hips to feel that nice pull back of the leg. Ankle just stays neutral, kind of relaxed. And just take a nice breath in. Exhale to look onto the hands, gently take some pressure off. And now this time, we're going to come back into it. Leaning, increase your stretch. Now slowly bend the knee and drop your head down. And hands come if you can grab your foot. Excellent. We're going to bring the forehead to the knee. If you can then start to straighten the knee, that's perfect. But this is a little bit more aggressive of a stretch. Cautious. Bend the knee generously if you need to. And then slowly work your way back up. Let's swing the right leg down to the floor and switch over to the other side. So we're going to bring left leg up into that modified Taylor sit. Use the pillow if you need to. If your hip is a little bit stiff here, right foot to the floor. Draw that left heel in towards the groin. And now sit up nice and tall. Use the left hand on top of the inside of the left knee to gently push a stretch. Nice breath in and out. And now let's work to bring the right leg slightly behind. Hands come in front of the left shin. And if you feel a stretch here increasing in your butt, that's perfectly fine. If we can go further, let's drop down to elbows and forearms. Increasing the stretch through nice piriformis stretch, this pigeon pose. And if you can from there, we're going to come down and just rest all the way down. If you want your head to relax on the bed, that's perfect. Just remembering to breathe. I use the hands to walk back up nice and slowly. I'm going to transition right to this long sit hamstring stretch. Again, go to the modified seated version if you need to. And from here, sitting up nice and tall, foot pointing straight up to the ceiling, lengthening that hamstring as my pelvis forward into this anterior tilt. Hold that posture. Shoulders relaxed. You can lean in to increase the stretch. Just try back straight initially. And then ease back out of that, of the hamstring. Bend the knee slightly to start and see if we can come down to reach the foot, bring the forehead to that knee to get a nice flexion stretch through the lower back, upper back, and into the neck. And then if you can start to extend and straighten the left knee, do what's comfortable for you. This is a very difficult tension position for a lot of people, so do what feels good for you. And take a breath. And exhale. Slowly come back up. Bring the left leg down to the floor. And from here now we're going to turn and face the bed and come into a calf position. But a lot of times we've done this modified downward dog. This is similar, but we're going to keep the right foot close to the bed. Bring the back, both feet facing straight into the bed. We're not rotating the foot at all here. Both feet face forward, both hands to the bed. And rock backwards so your left heel touches the floor. You can adjust your step width or distance to whatever you can tolerate for this calf stretch. We're going to feel a nice pull in the back of the left calf. Keep the left knee heel down, foot facing toward the bed, and gently bend the right knee to lean in toward the bed, just to where you feel a nice stretch in the back of the leg. We're going to hold it. Rock back, straighten the right knee, take some pressure off. You can bend the left knee slightly, and then one more time, straighten the left knee to bend into the right leg. Bringing the left heel in contact with the floor. Really nice calf stretch. And then rocking back, bring the left foot back in, and we're going to switch and step back with the right foot. Dropping the heel floor, keep that right foot facing the bed, bend the left knee as we keep the right knee straight and heel flat to the floor. Nice stretch through the back of the calf, maybe behind the knee. Gently rock back to straighten the left knee. Can give a slight bend to the right knee, heel can come off slightly, and then let's drop that heel back down. Keep the right knee straight as we bend into the left knee to find that calf stretch again. This is that gastrocnemius muscle, oftentimes implicated for Achilles tendon problems, knee issues. Really nice muscle to stretch. And then gently kind of rock to the ball, the right foot in. And now from here, we're going to go into kind of a lunge position. Step back with the right leg. Use the bed for balance here. We're not trying to work balance like we did in the session. This is more for flexibility. So feel free to use the bed. Nice wide step back. You control the width. Stay on the ball of the foot here. And we're going to keep the fingertips on the bed. Left knee straight, but again, heel is lifted. Bend into the right leg and pull that pelvis with your body to straighten up your back if you can as we gently lean into the right leg. That should deepen the stretch in the front of that left hip. So my shoulders and pelvis are stacked up and down. I'm not leaning as much here. You'll lose some stretch from that position. Very nice. And then step back in. And this is now where if you have a pillow, you can use this. If not, you're carpeted, or if you want to go to the hardwood, that's fine. But from here now, we're going to step back again with the left foot, same kind of hip flexor stretch position. But now we can start to bend the left knee and come down into a half kneel position. And you can stay on the toes of the left foot or drop it back. And from here now, I can start to gently lean forward in. Pelvis is pulled underneath my body. And this may deepen a stretch in the hip and even into the upper thigh. And again, the bed's here for balance. And then tuck the left toes underneath. Use your hands as you need to, but push through both feet to stand back up into posture. And now from here, bring your left foot in line with your right foot. So it's almost a heel to toe position, but I'm still on the ball of that left foot. Left hand comes to the bed. I'm going to reach my right arm up, push to the right side as I gently lean my body toward the left into my left hand, and get a nice side bend stretch. Switch. Right hand comes down, left hand comes up, and leaning to the hips toward the left. This gets a side bend stretch, but also gets a nice stretch through the IT band, which is a band of tissue on the side of your leg, and back down. Now we're going to switch sides. So you can just shift your pillow over, or just to start, let's step back with the right leg onto the ball of the feet, or the ball of the foot, I should say. Now from here, we're going to keep that knee straight, bend in with the left, pull the pelvis underneath, shoulders stacked on top of hips, fingertips to the bed if you need to for balance, and gently lean in as we push to straighten it and feel that stretch deep in the front of the hip. Couple of breaths, and then gently pull the pillow in. And from here, same position. If you maintained it, great. If not, let's behind. And then drop the right knee down into this half kneel position, either staying onto the toes of the right foot or dropping onto the top of the foot. Pull the pelvis and leaning into the left foot to feel a nice deep stretch in the front of the right hip and into the top of the thigh. Shoulders relaxed. We're trying not to tense in the upper body. And then we're going to curl the toes under if you're not already there. Push through both feet and through your hands to come back to standing into this lunge type position. And from here, we're going to bring the right hand down first to the bed, lift the left hand up, draw the right foot in line with the left foot if you can, and side bend towards your right as you push your hips to the left. Come back to center, drop the left hand down, and now lift the right arm up, push the hips to the right as you side bend to the left for that right IT band base stretch. And back down. Walk the right foot back up to meet the left. If you have a pillow there, step over it or move it out of the way. Let's finish today turning so you're kind of facing lateral to the bed. Feet nice and together. Let's do a nice fall all the way down, just running the hands down the legs. Feet stay flat. From here, just let the weight of the head relax. Feel a stretch in the hamstrings through your lower back. You can kind of move side to side a little bit here. And then nice and tall, coming all the way back up, slightly if you need to. Arms nice and high. Good morning pose or stretch to start your day. And arms relaxed. I hope your legs feel good. That was a nice stretch routine that I hope you continue with. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.